Oh my gosh, the caffeine is kicking in. Bear Claw intro, take one. Hi everyone, I'm Claire Saffitz. Welcome to my home kitchen. Today I'm showing you a recipe that you can find on New York Times Cooking because I'm a contributor and there is no paywall. For those of you in the back, no paywall, you get it for free. I'm making bear claws, which are maybe like the sleeper hit of all pastries and Danishes. They're so good. It has like this almond filling. There was something I saw a lot as a kid and don't see anymore, but we're bringing them back because they are so delicious and like right up there with an almond croissant.
Fantastic.
Do you know what this is? Do you know what we're making? Okay, thank you, of course. Okay, so for the millennials and older, like when I was a kid, there was always a bear claw pastry in the pastry case in like a bakery. And it literally does look like a bear claw, but it's like it is a kind of Danish, basically. It's made with Danish dough, which I have right here. And it's kind of like a turnover. It has an almond filling. And what I love about it is it has the kind of like a buttery, bready lightness, but also flakiness. So to me, it's so many textures and you get this like creamy almond filling. It's just really good. And I think we need to give bear claws a little more credit. And by the way, there are bear claws that are like the term also applies to a kind of donut, but I'm making the pastry today. So this recipe is a form of Danish. So it uses a Danish dough that's laminated. I have the dough already made right here. It's the same dough that I use to make the blueberry Danish tart. So you can check out that recipe where I make the whole thing. And this is a separate recipe also you can find on New York Times Cooking, no paywall. So I'm gonna use this, I just didn't need to show it to you again, to make my bear claws. And once you have this, the rest of it's really, really easy. I have one recipe of Danish dough. Then everything else is for assembly. I have 1 large egg, 6 ounces of almond paste, all-purpose flour, unsalted butter, a pinch of salt. I make a glaze at the end with some powdered sugar and some milk. Then sliced almonds for sprinkling over top, a little bit of vanilla, and that's really it. It's pretty straightforward once you have the dough ready to go. I'm gonna use my hand mixer to put together the filling. You could do it in a stand mixer with the paddle. You'll just need like a sheet tray with some parchment, a pastry brush, a wheel cutter is really handy. I'm gonna grab that. That's about it. Oh, pastry bag. A large disposable pastry bag here. You could use like a resealable plastic bag and just snip the corner to make like your own pastry bag. And a rolling pin, by the way. Where's my rolling pin? I think I left it over here. One of these. And that's it. I want to start by taking my large egg and beating it really well because a little bit of the egg is going to go into the filling and the rest I'm going to save for glazing, like brushing over the pastry before I bake them, doing a little egg wash. So I'm going to make this filling that is mostly almond paste, but has a little egg, some butter, a little flour just to help bind everything. We're just going to kind of make this quick version of frangipane, which usually you make with ground almonds, but I'm using almond paste. It's just kind of like a hybrid. So here, this is 6 ounces of almond paste. I'm gonna crumble this into the bowl. Almond paste, generally you find it in 2 forms. One is kind of like a block and one is in a tube. The block is usually 8 ounces, the tube is usually 7. I'm using 6 ounces, so it's like you'll have a little bit left over. And so I had some left over from a previous tube that I wrapped really well. It still wants to dry out a little bit, and then it's gonna be harder to incorporate. So you just wanna make sure your almond paste is nice and soft. I'm gonna add, this is 4 tablespoons of room temp butter. Then just a pinch of salt, vanilla extract, and my flour. It's gonna go in. The last thing I'm gonna add is a tablespoon of my beaten egg. Then the rest of the egg is gonna get saved for my egg wash. All right, so I'm gonna start this on low. And as this kind of incorporates, I'm gonna slowly increase the speed. And I just wanna get a nice, smooth, like thick paste. Okay. This is my filling. This is ready to go. You can see it's nice and smooth and a little fluffy. So I want to get this into my pastry bag. I used a bench scraper to just push everything toward the point and then twist to close. So I'm going to set this aside. For assembly, I have a large rim baking sheet so we can fit all 6 pastries on it. And I'm going to grab the dough because we're going to roll it out. So I want to roll this into a rectangle that is 16 by 9. Sorry, 16 by 11. I don't know why I said 16 by 9. 16 by 11. And because this dough has yeast and because it has butter in it that I've laminated into the dough, you just want to make sure it's cold. All right, so I'm probably only at like 14, that direction. If at any point it feels like the dough is getting warm, and you'll know because like the butter is likely to kind of start to squeeze out, or if it's just springing back on you really badly, go ahead and chill it again in the fridge. All right, so I'm at about 11 in terms of the width. I just need to get it a little bit longer. So now what we're gonna do is just trim it a little bit so that we have nice, like sharp cut sides. And that's because we wanna expose those layers. Trim to make it a nice, sharp rectangle. So I'm cutting it down to, I went to 16 by 11. I'm cutting it down to now 15 by 10, basically. I have my nice clean rectangle. I'm going to cut it in half lengthwise and then in thirds crosswise. So that's gonna give me like a 2 by 3 grid. So 6 squares total. I'm gonna grab my filling. Okay, and when you're piping, leave about a 1/2 inch from the edge. So you wanna just like leave that little border, in other words. I'm gonna take the filling, I'm gonna pipe a line, like a nice thick line of filling lengthwise down the center of each square. And I'm gonna use all the filling. Okay, so I just have like a little bit left over and I'm just kind of distributing it, the pastries here. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab that leftover egg and all of the squares are gonna get a little brush of egg wash along the borders. Okay, so now we're gonna form these. We're gonna take one at a time. I'm gonna fold it over onto itself, matching up and aligning those edges. And now I'm gonna also press along the sides. And you wanna try to eliminate any air pockets when you're folding it over. And if you need to, like, it's a little warm in here, it's sticking a little bit to my hands, you can like give your fingers a little flour. Okay, I'm gonna grab a paring knife because I'm gonna make the toes or the claws, I don't really know. I'm gonna now cut 4 notches to make 5 toes, I think. Just like that. And now, once I've done that, I wanna really press because the filling inside is gonna puff and the butter is gonna puff and the pastry and everything. So I wanna just really make sure that these are well sealed because you do risk some of the filling leaking out during baking. So now I have formed my bear claw. I'm gonna take it and put it onto the baking sheet and I'm gonna fan it out a little bit. So the edge of the pastry where the filling is, the opposite the toes, I'm gonna curve it. So it kind of fans out the toes. So that's the bear claw. I'm gonna now do that same process with the remaining 5 squares and get them all on the baking sheet. All right, so the bear claws are all formed. It's warm in here and the dough had been sitting out a little bit from the top, just to like when I was showing you everything and all the ingredients. So it's already proofing. And what I wanna do is actually add a little bit of water. So I'm gonna spritz. You could just use like a pastry brush and brush some water onto the parchment, but I'm just gonna kind of spritz in between the pastry onto the parchment. And this is adding some moisture. This is gonna aid in proofing. Now you wanna loosely cover this with plastic. I have these reusable sheet tray covers, which are great. And let this sit until the bear claws are super puffy, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like when they're proof because we're gonna do like a little poke test. So it's gonna we're gonna wait until it springs back, but leaves a little indentation. So under normal circumstances, that's the better part of an hour. like 50 to 60 minutes, but these have already started to proof, so this won't take that long. And I'm gonna preheat my oven to 375 with a rack in the center. So we'll come back here when they're proofed. So these have been proofing for, they took a little longer than I thought. Like 50 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes, which is kind of in the range in the recipe. And so they've gotten nice and puffy, and I wanna show you how I know that they're proofed. So I can see that there's little air bubbles underneath, which is a good sign. All right, so when I poke it, it springs back, but leaves a little indentation. That tells me that there's lots of air in the dough, but that it's also nice and relaxed. So that's what we want. So I have still a little bit of egg wash left. I'm gonna take this and gently brush it over my bear claws. So now, and see, I didn't even use all the egg. I still have some left over. So now I have a half a cup of sliced almonds. You can use blanched or unblanched. I usually like baking with the unblanched because I like how they look. That just means they have the brown skin still on them. So I'm going to sprinkle these very generously over each pastry. Now into the oven, which has been preheating at 375. And these are gonna bake, they're gonna get really puffy and really golden brown. And they're gonna go, it's like 23 to 28 minutes. So that 25-minute for me has been like the sweet spot. So just somewhere around there. Okay, so 26 minutes in the oven. I could smell that they're done. They look so good. They're like so beautifully puffed and browned. Let's show you. Oh my gosh. Here they are. One way that I know that they were really nicely proofed is if they're not proofed enough, sometimes you'll get some like tearing where everything puffed up and the filling puffed and the dough puffed and like it wasn't quite relaxed enough to like expand along with itself. So like it'll split like that. There's a very, very minor splitting here, but overall like they're really beautiful and the surfaces are smooth. So these look great. You see like the separation of the layers, which looks so good. There was no filling leaking out, so I'm super happy to see that. And I'm gonna get them onto the cooling rack and we're gonna let them cool. And the last step is doing like a really fun, easy little glaze on top.
I think you've done a really good job so far.
Thanks. Thanks. I feel like compliments from Claire. So the glaze for these is the most simple glaze, confectioner sugar and milk. So it's just 2/3 of a cup sugar and a tablespoon of milk. It's always less liquid than you think for the glaze. And we want a really thick glaze, but something that's still gonna drizzle. So if you need to add, it's always better to like, it's always easier to add a little liquid than to add more sugar. So if you need to make it a little bit more pourable, this could be a tiny bit more pourable. I'm just gonna add like drops of water, just maybe 3 drops of water or something. All right, maybe like 6 droplets, but let's just see. Okay, this looks great. So I'm gonna drizzle this over the bear claws. So I kind of pick it up with the whisk. You could use a fork and then let it fall. And once it's in a nice steady stream, then you can start the drizzle. That avoids like really big, thick drizzles anywhere in any one spot. Now, because the dough itself, I say this like in every video, but it's always true. The dough has very little added sugar, and the sugar that is present in the dough is really just there to help with browning. The filling is sweet, but because we were kind of cutting the sugar in the almond paste with like butter and a little flour and egg, that's not that sweet. And then there's really no other sugar besides the glaze. So the glaze is just there to add like a little sweetness, but it definitely does not make it too sweet. Okay, so I used it all. Here they are. Now we're just gonna let them cool a little bit longer until they're like fully cooled, and then we're gonna slice them open. I wanna show you the interior so you can see the filling and the layers, and then we're gonna taste. So I'm gonna cut a cross section so you can take a look. And again, it's warm, so it's like, I'm not really gonna get the definition on the layers that I should. But here you can see, there's the almond filling. You can see all these flaky layers of pastry all around. It smells so good, so buttery. I also really like how when you use raw almonds, they just naturally toast on the surface of the pastry. So you get that toasty almond flavor. They're dangerous. Like truly, they go down easy. Yeah, all of a sudden you're like, I've eaten an entire bear claw, and they're big pastries, so. All right, I'm gonna put this down. I just think everyone should help bring back the bear claw. Everything in it just comes together so perfectly into this pastry that like we're all missing in our lives. If you want the recipe, you can go to the link below. It is on New York Times Cooking. There is no paywall, so you do not need a subscription to access the recipe. Go to the description below. Check it out. It's really fun. Like I said, the dough, yeah, it's yeasted and it's laminated, but it's also kind of forgiving. And even if like your lamination is screwed up or it gets too warm or whatever, like you're still gonna have a delicious buttery bear claw pastry. So I really hope you try it, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.